And since none of the confidence intervals are actually outside of each other, it's not that any of these studies were wrong by themselves, just they didn't have power enough. Is there a specific reason why we use odds ratio? Could this forest plot, for example, be regarding relative risk or some other measure of association?
That's an excellent point as well. So the first concept that you described is a concept of heterogeneity, which means that how different are each individual study results from each other. In this case, you're right, all the confidence intervals overlap. There is no heterogeneity, and we measure that with this unit here called I square. So I square being 0, it means that the heterogeneity is very low or non-existent. It gives you extra confidence in the findings. It means that each individual study as results is consistent with the other, and you get more confidence in the overall pooled analysis. And then about your second question about the use of odds ratio, the odds ratio, you could use either odds ratio or relative risk when all the studies are either randomized or cohort studies. If you have any case control studies in your meta-analysis, case control studies can only be analyzed with odds ratio, and therefore your meta-analysis should also be analyzed as an odds ratio. The other point is, it's not in this case. In this case, we pulled the actual number of events, but there are some circumstances in a meta-analysis where you may actually want to pool the measure of association itself. And when you do that, if you get a measure of association to pool it in a meta-analysis and it has some multivariable adjustment, you can't remove that multivariable adjustment to bring it into your meta-analysis. So you have to bring it as it is. You have to bring it as odds ratio or as relative risk, whatever it may be. But that's a separate concept. So if you have a multivariable adjusted study, that one is also going to be odds ratio, because when you do logistic regression, and this is getting more advanced, when you do logistic regression, your output of the multivariable adjustment study is an odds ratio. So in that one particular circumstance, you also don't have an option. You have, when there is multivariable adjustment, you should keep odds ratio as your measure of association. With that in mind, I want to invite folks to participate in the Meta-Analysis Academy, where we teach a 10-step method on how you can develop these publications on your own, starting with developing your own idea for research and organizing that idea, testing whether it's a good idea or not.